All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. Today is Tuesday, March 25th of 2025. And looking ahead here, we have an 8-game NBA main slate with a Millie Maker tonight. We have a 10-game NHL slate, and then we have MLB opening day just around the corner here. Spring training games are wrapping up today, and then opening day will be on Thursday. So exciting day, exciting week. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS-related questions. Get your questions in one of three ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video. You also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you also get access to the rest of the SaberSim team. Just can't say enough good things about the Discord. But with that said, we do this show Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then we do this show on Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So tune in any one of those days, get your questions answered. Really quickly, I briefly mentioned this, but I do want to mention it again. For anybody excited about opening day and wants to start looking at projections and things like that, our projections should be up tomorrow morning. We are basically waiting for the last spring training games to wrap up, which is today, and then projections should be out first thing tomorrow. So along with that, we should have some content on the way for you guys as well with the updated UI for the new season, talking MLB strategy. So just wanted to let everyone know that that is coming and where we're at with it. All right. One question here to get us started. No show yesterday. Appreciate you guys being, cool with that. Had some things come up that I had to take care of. So no show yesterday, but happy and excited to be back today. First question. For college basketball, if I enter projections for the players, will SaberSim be able to sim the games or do I have to use the optimizer instead? So there are a handful of sports that we don't have sims for. Okay. So if you pull up this sport list here, I'll remove the question. We can see the whole list. So we have projections for every sport in this list except COD, soccer, and college basketball. These are the three sports that we don't have. The reason they're in the list is because we do still pull in the slate data for these. So players, positions, salary cap information, all those type of things are still here, right? So what that means is that you could still use our optimizer, okay? So like if we go to a college basketball slate, we have the 2 games that are on this main slate. We have all the players, all the positions, all the salaries. We just don't have projections and ownership, which come from our simulations. So if you upload just projections, all you really need. You can upload ownership if you want, but all you really need is projection. If you upload these, you can use our optimizer to build your lineups. Now, the thing is you cannot use sim mode. Sim mode requires us to simulate the games ourselves. If you are uploading projections and there are no projections for default, then you need to switch to optimizer mode, and then you can build your lineups there. So switch to optimizer mode. I'd recommend using projected score to rank your lineups, but that is what you would have to do to build lineups for college basketball. All right. Another exciting thing I didn't mention here is that UFL actually starts this week. So UFL, 4-game main slate to get things kicked off on Friday here. So MLB on Thursday, UFL opening day on Friday. So super exciting week here, getting into all the spring sports. And we will have full support for UFL as we normally do. So more information to come around that. But I had a couple people reach out about UFL and just wanted to mention that, yes, we will continue to support it. I think it's our 3rd year in a row doing so. First year was XFL/USFL, and then they combined to UFL. And then now I think this is the 2nd UFL season. So 3rd year supporting spring football. All right. Let's go back to NBA here. And before we kick off a slate demo, let me make sure No more questions are rolling in here at the moment, which they aren't. Cool. So I'm going to be building a lineups for this 8-game NBA main slate tonight. So if I were doing so, right, nice spread out slate, for 2 games of 4, get an idea of where the highest value plays on the slate are going to be coming from, right? And seems like there's some value on Memphis. There's not a ton of value yet today. If I wanted to, I can come in here. This is one that I haven't done a lot, but this also one I think is kind of cool. Right click on status, filter for questionables, and then now you'll just only see questionable players, right? So there's still a ton of pending news here. Cade Cunningham, Trae Young, Steph Curry, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, PJ Washington, Malik Monk, Stephon Castle, Jordan Clarkson, bunch of higher salary, higher projected, bigger name plays still pending here. And, the more of these guys that get ruled out, the more value is going to open up. But that can give you like a snapshot of like pending news as well. And then sorting by value as well, right? So there's some value here on Memphis already. We could go to Memphis, see why that is. Okay, I think it's mostly because Ja Morant is out. So we're getting some additional value here. So that makes sense. But seems like there's still a ton of pending news, right? So important not to get tied to any one play super early in the day with that much news outstanding. But either way, we're going to build some lineups and again, build the max number of lineups you can. I'm going to I'll probably leave minimum salary now. I've been experimenting, especially lately, with insane value. I think DeAndre Jordan was like 10 value, guys in like 7, 8 value for the Pelicans yesterday, with a bunch of players there getting rolled out. I've been experimenting with lowering minimum salary. Not to say I'm like getting lower salary lineups, but definitely want to like allow for it with just insanely high value slates happening here in late March heading into April. So you can do whatever you want. You could leave it alone. You could lower it. You could raise it if you want. I'm definitely not raising it this time of year though. So that's just one note there. Anyways, I'm going to kick off some lineups. Our contest sim is already set up. Our default one. We don't have to do anything special here. Just going to leave it alone. And then I'm going to move some things around while we wait. And we're going to let these lineups build. And then notice I have this run contest sim automatically after build toggle on. So I don't have to do anything special. The contest sim will just auto run and get me closer to where I want to be, which is great. All right. This build is finishing up now. And contest sim just kicked off. Perfect. I'm going to sort by exposure. And notice it auto switches to the contest sim that is selected by default, which is great. I'm going to switch my aggregate metric to average ROI for the contest I'm playing. So have my aggregate metrics set up, sorting metrics set up, got my exposure, my leverage, my pool, able to see everything I want to see here, which is great, right? Now it's time to start making decisions about what we want to do. And usually I'll say, okay, let's look at leverage first, right? Okay, a lot of exposure to Jaren Jackson, some higher exposures to like Pippen, Payne, Asar Thompson, Keontae George. I still think diversifying is good here, and we can start cranking up uniques, go from 1 to 3. We see our first small change in projection and ROI. We get up to 4. Still very, very well diversified. And like our top lineups are like very diversified. We're at 4 uniques. We've barely had any change. Going to 5. 5, we see a jump here, right? We lose like 3 points projection. down about like 30% ROI total. This would be a good spot to figure out like, hey, do I like 4 or do I like 5, right? Notice that 4 uniques, Jaren Jackson is 47% leverage. And then at 5 uniques, his exposure goes from 80 to 55, still our highest leverage player, but his overall leverage is down to like 22%, right? This is where the projection ROI metrics the drops are coming from, losing exposure to him. But, if you thought your risk was too high by having so much exposure to him, well, then you should be willing to sacrifice these values in order to lower your exposure to him. So me personally, I actually really like 5 here. I think 5 makes a lot of sense. If you wanted to do 4, I wouldn't blame you. If you wanted to try and go, one further to 6, at 6, we drop like another 6 points projection, a lot more ROI. I really feel like 4 or 5 is the right number depending on your risk tolerance. For me, it's 5, and I would be happy with these lineups. I'd be ready to save them and upload them to my contest and get ready for my late swap. So that's what I would be doing if I was building NBA lineups for today. And I'm curious to see what MLB looks like. So we do have the slate up in the app. Oh, it looks like we actually do have some projections rolling in here. So maybe the team was able to get some projections. Yeah. So I'm just finding out about this now. So I thought we had to wait for spring training games to be over, but it looks to me like projections are up, team totals are in the app. So if you guys want to start getting in here and messing around with some MLB builds for tomorrow, or I'm sorry, for Thursday, you can definitely do so. So while we're here, might as well look around a little bit. So what do pitchers look like? A lot of ownership on Skeens. Surprised we're seeing so much Kikuchi, Cole Reagans, and then kind of flattens out there. So that's kind of interesting. Go team stacks, highest team total teams tomorrow. Philly versus the Nationals. Mets against the Astros. Braves against San Diego. And then it kind of trickles down from there. So let's see. Let's go to all batters. Where's the chalk tomorrow? It's kind of spread out here. There's a couple, like 2 Philly batters, 2 Atlanta batters. It seems really spread out here. So it's kind of interesting from like a hitter perspective. Even, the highest run total teams aren't getting that much. What is this filter? Let's just say with my projection greater than 0. So we can just hide these guys. There we go. Sort by order. So Philly, like 10 to 20% owned. I'm just estimating. Mets, closer to like 10%. I think it was Atlanta. So like Mets and Atlanta are like kind of in the same range. But then Philly is like definitely probably going to be the most popular. So let's just like run and build and see what it looks like. So I'm curious to do a little opening day build here. I really wouldn't mess with anything here. I'd let SaberSim do what it does best. Notice correlation super high here, right? If you guys have been playing basketball, probably used to seeing like 3.7, 3.6, but not correlation all the way up to 9 for MLB, just due to the effects of stacking and things like that. So you could also, click on any one batter. Who's highest projected? Lindor. And let's see if his graph loads. Interesting. Waiting for this build to kick off still. Kind of acting funny. Let's try something. Just gonna do a quick hard refresh. Let's cancel this build. And let's open up a new one. And let's just build 500 lineups. 2 projection adjustments. All right, try this one more time. It's possible builds aren't ready yet, and then team's still working on it. So if that's the case, I'll circle back. But we'll definitely do MLB demo tomorrow during office hours. I'm sure this will all be worked out by then. All right. Analyzing Sims still holding where it is. So I don't think MLB is 100% ready yet, but I think it is very, very close with team totals, projections, ownership in the app. So team's probably putting the polish on right now. I'll circle back, and I'm sure we'll communicate when everything is up and ready to rock and roll. But you can see how close opening day is and how close we are to being able to build some MLB lineups. Other than that, we are caught up with questions here in the YouTube chat in the Discord. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, for our next show. So until then, everybody, take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.